All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. We will go ahead and get started. This webinar will be recorded and on our website. We'll probably also send the link to everybody who's registered for it, so you won't miss anything. Um, but anyway, welcome. This is kind of one of our favorite time of the year when the KidWind Challenge kicks off for the state of Kansas. And we have a bunch of information for you for the 2026 Kansas KidWind Challenge. So we'll just go ahead and get started. So this is the crew. This is the Kansas Energy Program. We're part of K-State Engineering Extension, which is attached to the College of Engineering. And so we go out all over the state with just this amount of people. So we have Ryan Hamill, Kurt Foley, myself, David Carter, Mandy Putnam, Stacy Harris, and Bree Little, and Brendan Devening there in the back left. So Bree is our newest member. She's the one on the bottom left there, and Brendan is the top left. He's our student worker. He has a wealth of information on the KidWind Challenge because he not only participated as a student, he became a KidWind Fellow last year and also this year again. And plus, he's working with us at Kansas at the Kansas Energy Program. So we don't get any money. Our program doesn't get any money from the state of Kansas or from Kansas State University. We have to go out and get our own money. And our Kansas Energy Program was established in 2016 through a partnership with the Kansas Corporation Commission Energy Office. So they've been our partner since then. In 2018, we started running a KidWind challenge under a different contract, but they recognized the STEM capability of that program and the energy education, and they've been our partner ever since 2018. So most of the things that we do and the equipment that we have is due to their partnership. So we really appreciate what KCC does for us. This is where we go with just the few people that we have. As you can see, through all of our activities that we do under the Kansas Energy Program, we do the full breadth and depth of the state of Kansas. I think we are currently at only missing 20 or maybe even less now of the counties in Kansas. I know we've been to quite a few. So always looking to fill in those gaps. So if you have events that you want us to help you with, we'll be more than happy to do so. So what is KidWind? I don't yeah, I'll go ahead and play this video real quick and
David, we can't hear the volume very well, I don't think. So I don't know how to edit that quickly or change that.
Oh, okay. Can I, oops. It's on full volume. Can you hear better now?
State KidWind competition, and we're very excited to be here. It's always a great day.
Yes.
Fun, learning a lot along the way.
The goal is for the students to sort of build a wind turbine that fits in a 4-foot by 4-foot wind tunnel. They can design it how they want, they can test it as much as they want, but they usually have to do some kind of knowledge tests. They also have to do an instant challenge that as a team, they have to figure out sort of how to solve a problem. And then there's a big event where the judges will talk to them for a while, ask sort of how they build their turbine, how they test it, and all those components get combined into one score.
Our first time ever doing the KidWind competition. So we went through the design process, had them design, build everything. So the last month we've been practicing as much as we can, and they've updated and changed things. They went from about 44 joules start with to about 55 by the end of the day.
This is our first year doing the KidWind challenge, so we're pretty much rookies. It's one of those things where you like it and next year you want to do it again because it was so much fun.
First, we didn't really know what it was, but as we went on, we got really excited for it.
My teachers, when they signed us up for it, we didn't know what we were doing, but we built the turbine and then it's been a fun process ever since then. Other schools and students should participate because it really gets the mind thinking and it helps them solve real world problems later in life.
Overall, it's been great for my technology STEM program. It gives me guidance and I teach it to all of my junior high kids. So I have about 100 STEM kids that get exposed to building wind turbines. And from there, I've seen it just take off. They learn a lot of collaborating, a lot of problem solving, a lot of really great things. We really enjoy it.
Okay, so yes, the KidWind Challenge obviously is wind energy focused, but there are many benefits of the KidWind Challenge other than just learning about wind energy and renewable energy. You can see many of the ones that are listed here. It is aligned with the next generation science standards for the science and engineering standards. We actually have two people, Stacy Harris and Mandy Putnam, who do a great job making sure that the right NGSS standards are identified for these so that you can use that in your classroom. There are career connections. We have industry professionals that attend our KidWind challenges and act as judges and team mentors for the students. So there's a lot of career connections there. In addition to the corporate sponsors that we have that provide funding, they like to have one-on-ones and little small groups with the students just to inform them of what they can benefit from the energy industry and particularly the renewable energy industries. You can see it's project-based. They can compete with peers in a supportive, I would say non-competitive environment, but you know, students will be students and some of them do get pretty competitive. But there are other skills that they learn besides just the engineering, math, and science skills. They do learn public speaking, they learn collaboration. You heard problem solving. So those are skills that are encompassed or incorporated into many other skill sets. And then you have the support from the Kansas Energy Program in terms of events, resources, equipment, reimbursements, and we'll get into some of those in detail later. This is one of the things that we do at the end of each KidWind season. We will send a survey out to the coaches and we encourage both the coaches and the students to say, hey, what did you learn through this process? And you can see that wind energy is mentioned there towards the bottom of the center, but the biggest ones are some of those soft skills that I mentioned earlier, the teamwork, the public speaking, the problem solving, presentation skills, and those are all different characteristics that we would consider to be very desirable in employees, future employees. So this makes this particular challenge, although it is STEM based, does make them desirable employees for all these opportunities. And they're all around. You have the career and technical education, you have other clubs and competitions, job shadowing and internships, and we've had some of the students go for dual credit for technical college courses and get certifications in renewable energy and wind turbine technicians, things like that. Here are some of the educational opportunities that we have available in Kansas. I won't read them all to you, but you can see that there are quite a few. Many of these community colleges, well, four, are actually partnerships in the KidWin. So we have the KidWin Challenge at Colby Community College, at Hutchinson Community College, Johnson County Community College, and Manhattan Area Technical College this season. And we have had now for at least a couple of seasons, all four of those, Manhattan area being the newest one. But there are other fields in the energy industry that need future employees, and it runs the gamut from accounting and finance to law to biology, computer science, particularly computer science, because many of the turbines are actually controlled via computer communications, and the technician does have to go up every now and then to service them, but the wind directions and how the turbines are faced, which ones are turned on and off, are controlled mainly by computer. This is so one, I do want to make sure that everybody realizes the Kansas Energy Program did not invent KidWind. That was Mike Arquin, who you saw in the video. He is the founder of KidWind, and through his enthusiasm and his knowledge and his sheer will, he managed to grow it into the great STEM competition that it is now. This is what it looks like on the national scale, at least for those of us who have entered the events. I'm sure there will be more states. They either just haven't filled out their information yet, or they haven't really established when and where their competitions are going to be. But the main thing we want to show is that of the states that have entered the information, Kansas has 6 regional challenges and the 1 statewide challenge, and that is by far more than any other state does for this program. So we're very grateful for the support and the interest that we have from the teachers in participating in this program, and through that continued interest, we will just try and continue to grow the program. So for the 2026 World KidWin Challenge, we'll say that the current federal administration is not particularly friendly towards renewable energy, particularly wind and solar. So they're having kind of a tough time trying to find a space to go. But they did decide on the University of Wisconsin-Madison. That will probably be, although they haven't solidified the dates yet, probably going to be that 3rd week of May in 2026. So you might want to just go ahead and start thinking about if you do get to go there, how might you travel, and what kind of obstacles you might have in terms of scheduling conflicts. The World KidWin Challenge does have both a wind challenge and a solar challenge, and we are going to be looking at that this year, particularly for our instant challenge. But we have been given permission to start incorporating a solar challenge into the KidWin Challenge. So we'll start looking at how best to do that. For the competition elements, they have pretty much the same that we do, because we align our competitions to try and reflect the World KidWin. So they do have the wind turbine testing, but they also have solar testing events, a judging session, instant challenges, and a quiz bowl. So this is the Kansas KidWind over the years. You can see we started in 2018, and we had 8 schools and 17 teams and only 51 students that participated. And we recognized early on that if we wanted to grow the program, we had to go out to where the schools were, as opposed to expecting them to come all the way over to Manhattan, Kansas. So we started off with 4 regional challenges plus a statewide, and you can see that we went to 22 schools and 44 teams and 150 students. And then in 2020, we increased that to 5 regionals. And from 2023 on, we have done 6 regionals and a statewide challenge. You can see our highest year was 2023 with 55 schools, 94 teams, and 341 students. We have exceeded that in early registrations, but these numbers only show the ones that eventually finish. And in both 2024 and 2025, we had a number of cancellations, mostly due to snow days that prevented the students from working on the turbines, and then they felt that they weren't ready to actually attend. When we get to one of the later slides, we'll show you how we're doing on registration so far in this year. So this is who participates in the program. This is just showing where they have been from. We do have, in addition to the ones that participate in the on-site events, we also try and keep track of those who participate in the KidWind process. Many schools will hold an internal challenge, so we will ask them how many students actually participated in that internal challenge, because they might not have made it to one of the on-site challenges where we can count those numbers. So we try and pull in who's participated in the process. So you can see more than 850 in 2025 and more than 1,100 in 2024. So again, we owe that success to the teachers who get their students involved, and we just appreciate their support so much. So we do have regionals. We have 6 regionals in the state, and then those feed into a statewide challenge, and then the statewide feeds into the World's Challenge. So this is how to register for the regionals. It is a two-part process. We do require the initial registration by December 19th, or if one of the regions is full, you can try and register, but you'll get a message saying that that particular regional is full. So we just need some general information so that we can reserve a spot. Contact info, number and age divisions of the teams, which challenge you want to attend. We do not dictate that for you. So if there are a couple that are within what we try and do is we just try and keep the challenges to a 2-hour radius for the schools that are beyond that. But if you needed to go to one that was a farther challenge for you, we will still reimburse the mileage to and from that challenge. If you register 3 teams, that 3rd team is automatically going to be waitlisted, and that's the 3rd team in the same age division. We do this to try and increase the number of schools that can participate, because as we started growing, some of the schools would, try and register a large number of teams, and that would preclude teams from other schools getting in. So we wanted to make it as broad as we could for the other schools. So we waitlist that 3rd team. And then we'll do a follow-up registration in December to January. And those are the ones where we need to get more specific details, particularly in regards to the dietary restrictions, so that we can order food that doesn't cause harm to anybody. This is a KidWind timeline. I'm not going to read this in its entirety, but you can see the registration from October 1st to December 19th. And then we will announce the waitlisted teams December 16th. So that's not too far away. Throughout the fall and early spring, you can borrow a wind tunnel to help your teams design and build and prepare what they want to do. In February 26th, we're going to have all of the regional events, and we'll provide specifics on those in just a few slides. And then April 11th in 2026 is going to be the statewide KidWind Challenge in Salina. And then the World is typically mid-May. And like I said, it's going to be at the University of Wisconsin-Madison this year. These are all the locations and dates for the regional challenges and the state. And again, each school is going to be limited to 3 teams per age division. And yep, okay. And you cannot split up the teams and send them to multiple challenges. So I apologize, my phone is ringing. I don't. Yeah. Okay. So here are some of the basic rules. The only thing that is actually required is the KidWind generator that you see pictured there. We will provide these if needed. So you don't have to worry about those. We do have the cost of it. I think it's anybody on want to help me out with the cost?
I think you get 3 of them for about 20 bucks.
Okay, so 3 for 20. Each team has to have its own turbine and base. You cannot share. So if you have more than one team, you cannot share bases, you cannot share blades, you can't switch from one team to another. They have to have their own turbine. Each team must have a coach because other than the 2 teachers that we have, the rest of us probably aren't the best people to have trying to manage your students as we're trying to manage a KidWind challenge. So the coaches are responsible for registering a team and getting the students to where they need to be. And then you can visit our website for more information about the challenges and for resources that we have available for you. The turbine, the wind tunnels that we have are basically a 48 by 48 inches, so 4 by 4 feet. So your turbine does have to fit inside there, and you should allow some room. These are basically it's just a plastic frame that we have. So if you have too large of a turbine and the blades are made of a fairly sturdy material, you could actually, puncture the wind tunnel, and then, we don't want that to happen. So the turbine does have to be freestanding. We will provide weights to help hold the turbine in place. You can bring your own weights, though that's perfectly acceptable also. The power must be generated solely by wind. So if your wind turbine does not start on its own, does not start spinning on its own, you cannot help it by pushing the blades and getting it started that way. So if it doesn't start at all, you will have the opportunity after your first wind performance tunnel testing in the first part of the morning. You can have the time in the afternoon to work on that and get it started by the afternoon. You are allowed to purchase parts other than pre-made airfoils, but be warned that some of the judges may like seeing you be more creative and use or reuse parts that have been scavenged from other machines or other devices that you may have around the school or home. Anyway, it is part of it's not just STEM, some people do include the A for the in the STEAM for artistic. So we do like to see creativity and thinking outside the box. One of our most memorable wind turbines is one that was actually made from vinyl records that they had um, put slits in and heated them up to warp the blades and change the pitch, and we thought that was pretty cool. But whatever you make the blades out of, you know, make sure that they're safe. We want to avoid sharp edges. We want to avoid, you know, metal, plexiglass, anything that can either puncture the wind turbine frame or that can hurt some of the students. So be safe, always safe. When measuring the power output from the turbine during the KidWind challenge, it will be hooked up to a 30 ohm resistor to create a load. Many times teachers and students will borrow one of our wind tunnel and they'll forget to put the internal load on there. You can see that right here where there's a switch. You can use the internal load of 30 ohms on this energy sensor, or you can connect an external load. Sometimes they will use the external load, but they won't actually have a load on there. So it will perform better than it does when they bring their turbine to the competition. So make sure you don't do that. The approximate wind speed in our wind tunnel is 3.5 meters per second. So you want to make sure that if you use something other than our wind tunnels, that you know what the wind speed is so that you can compare and manage your expectations one way or another. So we do have some rules that were continued from 2025. The main change there was adding that 4th to 5th grade division to more closely align with world competition, which did have 3. We'll say that we think that it did make that better because you didn't have potentially some 4th graders competing against 6th through 8th graders, which made it more difficult. Again, schools can register up to 3 teams per age division, per regional. Last year, we did start the new generator division, but only at the state challenge. So the 6th through 8th and 9th through 12th age divisions will be given the option to use either an open or home-built generator for the competition. Last year, we quit measuring the turbine efficiency as a part of the turbine scoring. So now all of the points at the tunnel will be based on the energy output. That will be different than Worlds. Worlds still does measure the turbine efficiency. We just decided to break with them on that point. And then I think that this is similar to the World KidWind Challenge. We do have penalty points for rude behavior, for using phones or other electronic devices during the instant challenge or during the quiz. And most importantly, coaches or adults repairing or making improvements to the turbine. This is a student event. It's for the students. It's not for the teachers and coaches. We welcome your input. The students welcome your input, but if we see adults repairing or making improvements, we will dock points. So by trying to help the students, you're actually going to be hurting them. So we just ask you to be cognizant of that. And then new for 2026, not a lot of major changes. We do have the 2026 Kansas KidWind Challenge Guidebook up and running on our website. So check that out and look at the green highlights. Those are just clarifications we've made on the rules that we used last year. And I'm not really going to get this right, but we do have a shark tunnel. So anybody who was at the World KidWind Challenge this year in May noticed that their high-speed tunnel was converted into a shark tunnel, and we liked it so much. We talked to the people who had designed and made it and asked if they would bring it to our statewide challenge, and they said, sure. So we're gonna have this. The kids loved it. And well, I'll say Stacy Harris loved it too. She got her picture taken in the mouth of the shark with the wind blowing, and yeah, it was pretty cool. So we all had fun with that, and we're happy to bring it to statewide. I will say that the dumb that was in Jaws, they do have that music playing. I don't know if they play it all the time, but they actually keep a tally of how many wind turbines are destroyed by the shark tunnel. And it's kind of almost like a badge of honor to have your turbine ripped apart in the high-speed shark tunnel. Getting back to a regular competition for us, the schools or organization, it doesn't have to be schools. It could be a boys or girls club. It could be 4-H. It could be just an after-school club, homeschool club. Doesn't matter. Just as long as they're students. You form the team in one of the 3 age divisions. You design and build your wind turbine. You learn about energy. You prepare your presentation. If you want to, you can host an internal challenge at your school. If you want to narrow it down, so if you have a whole lot of students that are interested and you need to whittle it down to the top 3, you can host an internal challenge, and we will help you with that if we're available. Attend the 1-day regional challenge, and then the winners in the top 2 in each age division will advance to state. And we don't know what the protocol is going to be this year. World is trying to, because of funding restrictions, they're looking at perhaps restricting the number of teams. So right now we don't know exactly how many teams we will be able to advance from state. But as soon as we know, we'll send that out. This is in 4 pictures. This is the Kansas KidWind Challenge. So you have the judges panel here where the team is explaining their design build process to the judges. You have a knowledge quiz. This is a team event, so everybody on the team can chime in. The only thing is you can't use phones or computers to get answers. This is the turbine performance, where we actually measure the energy output, which you can see we put up on the screen so that everybody can see that. And then this is the instant challenge. So this is a challenge that we designed that the students or teachers don't know about until they get into the room, and then they have to solve that. This is how the points are scored. You get equal points, 40 points for turbine performance and for the judges panel, and then 10 points each for the knowledge quiz and the instant challenge. So one of the things I will say, and we will say this again and again and again and again, is that you can do the best ever in the turbine performance, and if you don't score well in these other 3, you may not be moving on. All right, it is not a single criterion for moving on. It has to be a combination of all 4 of these. We are doing a KidWind t-shirt design contest this year. So we encourage anybody who has a creative side to go to our website to look at the rules for designing the t-shirt and submitting it. We will do voting December 4th through December 15th, and the winner will be announced December 18th. Oh, and those submissions are for October 13th through the December 1st. So we look forward to seeing lots of creative ideas from the students. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Okay. So who can participate in the KidWind Challenge? Any student in the 4th through 12th grade. No restriction on team size, but we do recommend 3 to 5 students. Because if you have more than that, you know how it is when you're trying to work with a group. If you have too many people, then 2 or 3 people are going to be pulling all the weight, and the other ones are just going to be, kind of, lollygagging around. And if you have too few, you don't get a lot of the synergy and the ideas for creating and design that you need. Teams can come from public schools, certainly, but they don't have to be a public school. It can be homeschools, after-school clubs, like I had mentioned before. But each team or teams you have to have 1 adult per 10 students. So if you have 3 teams and each one has 4, then you'll need someone to help assist if you have 12 students. So there is no cost to participate in our KidWin challenges. We do everything we can to try and reduce obstacles and increase participation. So there's no cost to register. There's no cost to attend. The only thing you need is the supplies to build the turbine. And the only required part is that KidWin generator that I told you about. And as Ryan mentioned, the 3-pack is $20, or you can get a 10-pack for $60. We do provide generators, so go ahead and ask us if you need one. One of the biggest ways we reduce obstacles for teachers and student teams to attend is we will reimburse mileage to and from each of the regionals and the statewide challenge. And again, I just want to emphasize that that's to the regional challenge of your choice. We do not dictate which ones you go to. If you have to hire a substitute for the day that you bring your students to the competition, we will reimburse that substitute stipend as well. And then we do provide lunch at each of the events. Not just lunch, also we do provide snacks for the students. Do want to emphasize that this lunch is just for the students and the teachers or coaches. We can't provide lunches for the spectators that may attend, although at the statewide event, since you can't bring in any outside food, we will probably expand that scope to include spectators as well. Sorry, that could have been in the what's new for 2026. Okay, so we get this question a lot about how teachers can incorporate KidWind into their curricula. We don't particularly have a make or break way of doing it. Some teachers kick the lessons off after winter break and spend a couple of weeks. Others start in the fall. So it's totally up to the teachers as to how they want to do it. Some of them use the KidWin Challenge as a capstone project. So it's not even part of a class. It's just part of a project that some of the seniors or juniors and seniors do as a capstone. Again, as we mentioned, the teachers can host an internal competition to decide who will attend a regional challenge. I know we have at least 3 or 4 schools that do this. We've helped with 3 or 4 of those. Some hold their own internal competitions and don't ask for us to do anything. But if you need a wind tunnel, if you need 1 or 2 of us to come out and help, we can do that. Well, okay, already did that one. So this is what a typical day looks like for one of our KidWin challenges. Now this is different than Worlds. Worlds does not schedule the performance tunnel. They have chips that they hand out. So you get 3 for each wind tunnel. But we don't have the bandwidth to do that. So we have to finish up in a day. And we try and keep our day from 9 to around 3 so that schools can get back on the road and get back within an hour or two. So we schedule everything and we have a number of people that help get the students to where they need to be at the particular time. Now, even though we schedule it, we will work with the coaches to reorganize, like if a school has to leave early to get to a sporting event or some other event, we will ask the teams that are ahead of it if it's okay if they move up. Just recognize that that when we have to do that, it throws the entire schedule into somewhat of a disarray, and it's just a lot harder for us to manage, but we will do that. But typically it's 9 to 3. We have a break for lunch. We have performance testing in the morning, and then we will repeat them in the afternoon so that all of the teams have a chance to adjust their turbines for maximum performance. So towards the end of the day, so most people will ask, well, don't you know the scores as you're moving along? No, we do not. So all during the day, we will, as the teams are rotating through these 4 areas of the competition, we will sometimes have some scores that we can go ahead and put into our spreadsheet. But we really do not know what the final scores are until the last team gets out of the wind tunnel, the last team completes the instant challenge, the last team completes the quiz, and the last team gets out of the judges panel. So we really don't know what the scores are until we start getting all those scores. We'll tally them up at the end. And then what we will do is we'll have a presentation by one of the sponsors to kind of fill in the time while we're trying to tally up the scores so that we can announce the winners. Generally, we do announce the winners around 3:30. It just depends on how many teams we have. This is the practice wind tunnel. You will see that it looks pretty much just the same as the performance wind tunnel. So we do this to reduce variability in the competition. We have 11 wind tunnels that we can loan out. During the month of February, we have to keep at least 2 for the competition so that we don't use different tunnels for the competitions. And some of the regional challenges that have more teams, we may have more practice wind tunnels or more performance wind tunnels. We'll just have to see what the final count is on the teams. This is what the judges panel looks like. We will always have, well, we try and have 3 judges, and we try not to have those judges vary between the teams in the different age groups. So if we have the 3 judges for the 4th through 5th, we'll try and keep those same judges for all of the 4th through 5th teams. We may have different ones for the 5th and 6th, but again, we'll try and keep all the same 3 judges so that there's no variability. And then the knowledge quiz, like I said, it can be taken as a team, so you can all work together. The instant challenge also done as a team. Sometimes we will have multiple teams in the same area. Sometimes there will be in different areas, but again, it's going to be, and we do have different instant challenges for the different age groups. We might share with the 4th and 5th, and then the 6th through 8th, but the 9th through 12th and the younger ones typically will be different. As you can see here, that you'll have all kinds of designs for the turbines, and we just ask that you use your creativity. Some students will use these are all veneer kit gears, but some will create their own. They'll either 3D print them or they'll laser cut them. Same with the blades, same with the bases. You can see this is completely a veneer kit, but these are pretty much student made. Can't really see where the generator is, and oh, it might be down here, the generator. And that's a KidWind generator probably. So we do have lots of resources for you up on our website. So you can go to our KidWind resources webpage and look at all these resources for you. Stacy and Mandy and Kurt and Ryan have done an excellent job on all these. I would say Bree also, but she's new, so I'm not sure how much impact she's had on this yet. But next year she'll have a huge impact. Oops, didn't mean to do that either. Registration, we would encourage you to register as soon as possible. For now, like we said, we just need your contact information and which challenge you'll attend and how many teams you'll be bringing. We'll try and get the rest from you later. I think Mandy is our designated teacher contact for trying to get this information. So please be nice to her and get it to her when she asks you for it. The first time, not the sixth time. Again, you can choose a regional event or date that makes the most sense for you and your team. And you can find the registration links and location details at this website. This was as of maybe it was updated for today. But when I was doing the slides, it was updated for yesterday. We had 89 teams when I did it, and Mandy just told us this morning that it's up to 91 teams. So this may be updated to reflect those numbers, but again, we're up to 91 teams, and if you remember from our statistics that we showed on the historical growth of the program, that is, I think we had 94 teams in 2023. So we're pretty close to reaching what we did in 2024, and we still have time for registration. So get in as soon as you can. Now, if you're not ready for KidWind, you certainly don't have to go to a KidWind. We would encourage you to do so because that is the best learning process ever. Just bring your team, have them participate. And in fact, we've even had some teams that have run through that didn't really even care about the competition part. They just wanted to see what the process was, run through it, and then prepare them for next year. So generally the first year or 2 or 3 is actually all about learning how what the KidWind challenge is, what wind energy is, what wind turbines are, gear ratios, all that stuff is kind of complex. So the more you practice it, the better the team will get. And certainly anybody who wants to come by and just observe an event is more than welcome. We do have situations where we have to cancel or reschedule. So we have these challenges. It does cost quite a bit for us to go out and do a KidWind challenge at a regional place. So if we are way short on teams for a regional challenge, we may choose to cancel that and ask the schools to attend a different regional event. Last year for the Overland Park one, we had exactly 6 teams, 2 teams in each age division that were registered. And we hold the regional challenges to select the top 2 teams in each age division that we're going to advance. So we canceled that regional challenge and just automatically advanced all the 6 teams to state. Now that hurts them because they don't get a chance to practice. So when they got to state, they recognized that they were behind some of the other teams that had that chance to practice at regionals and see how the other teams were doing. And then, you know, we are in Kansas, so sometimes we do have to cancel events due to snow. We actually had to cancel the Northwest Regional Challenge twice last year before we eventually got one in. If you want some competition testing equipment, I told you that we do have an energy library. All of the KidWind Challenge equipment is available for loan. Now we do have to put some restrictions on that as we get closer to the KidWind Challenge. Mandy Mandy, Stacy, and Bree currently look at the wind tunnel request that we have. We try and get each school to have it for a couple of weeks. So make sure that if you request a wind tunnel, that you've planned to have your wind turbines done in time to use that wind tunnel efficiently during that 2 weeks. We have had some schools that get the wind tunnel and then they haven't planned accordingly, and they get actually 1 day to test and they ask for an extension, but if we have other schools that have requested it, we have to honor those. So just make sure that you're planning what you do. And then these are the Go Direct energy sensors that we and Worlds use for measuring the electrical output. So again, everything that we have is actually used for the competition, and it's available for you. And this is our lending library has other things in there besides just the KidWind. But since this is a KidWind challenge webinar, we'll just say that you can go to the equipment library and look at those. We have infrared cameras and data loggers and all kinds of stuff for other activities. So take a look at what you need. If you want to give us a call and talk to us about some of those, or send us an email, we'll be more than happy to help you out with all of the information for the equipment that we have. We cannot do this without sponsors. So all of that mileage reimbursement, all of the stipend reimbursement, the lunches, those are provided typically by funding sources through either KCC or through our corporate sponsors. Enel Green Power North America is our major sponsor. And then all these other ones give very we appreciate any amount, but it's just a little bit less than what Enel and Kansas Corporation Commission gives us. So we thank all the sponsors, and down below you can see all the sponsors that give us facilities free of charge. So we don't have to pay for any of the spaces that we go until we get to the statewide challenge, and that's an enormous advantage for us. And so we appreciate all the facilities that give us all of the organizations that give us their facilities free of charge. These are all the contacts for our program. Everybody's up here except, again, Brendan, who's our student worker. But if you go to our website, he's on there. He actually has his own little video. But since he has a lot of knowledge about KidWind challenges from a lot of different perspectives, if you go to our website and request some Zoom time with Brendan, he's more than happy to help you out there. He's also a KidWind fellow again this year, so that's part of his job with the National KidWind is providing instruction and guidance to teams via his fellowship. And we have a monthly newsletter. If you want to subscribe to that, either the QR code or going to kansasenergyprogram.org to sign up. And we have lots of social media. If you participate in an event or have an eternal event on your own that you want to put up on our website, we're more than happy to do that.